Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back. We've been looking at something called what do you have in your hands. We've looked at professionally, what do you have in your hand. We've looked at skill wise, what do you have in your hand. We're going to go a bit further today by looking at I would call it ministerial gift, or it could be your spiritual gifting, but of course not spiritual gifting relating to the gifting in the Bible, but what's your call in life into ministry, or what are you gifted into ministry. Most of us, if not all of us, have a call of God upon our life. We have a call in the ministry. My ministry might be different from yours, and your ministry might be different from mine, but mostly in Christendom, I'm talking about Christian generally. I don't know much about the other religion because I've been a Christian all of my life. So I will concentrate on Christianity, but you can apply this to whatever belief you have. We all have a call into a ministry. We all have a call and a purpose upon our life. So sometimes I look at myself, or you look at yourself and say, I'm geared towards something. But it is not what I do. It is not professional or skill wise, but it's a call onto ministry. If you remember, Jeremiah 1:5 says, before I formed you, remember, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And before you were born, I consecrated you and appointed you as a prophet to the nation. Practically saying, before we were even conceived in our parents' womb, God has actually ordained us. He has consecrated us. What is consecration? That means you're set apart for a purpose. That means I'm set apart for a purpose. You are set apart for a purpose. Apart from your professional and skills, you're still set apart for a purpose, which is the ministry call upon your life. And it says, I've consecrated you. Consecration means set apart. And I appointed you as a prophet to the nation. We are all the nation. Every one of us are part of the nation. So he's appointed each and every one of us for a purpose. Now it comes to, what have you got in your hand? You've been appointed, you've been consecrated, and I have been appointed, I have been consecrated to a call in life. But what am I doing with it? Sometimes God calls individual to a deeper walk. When I mean walk, it could be W-O-R-K and also W-A-L-K. A walk, when you're walking with him, when you're actually walking with him step by step. He calls you nearer, he calls you more, he calls you into a deeper walk. But what do I do with my call? What do you do with your call? Which is where we come to, what do you have in your hands? The things you have in your hands spiritually, which is in the call to ministry, what are you using it for? How are you using it? Most of us sometimes can identify, this is what I'm calling to. But are we fulfilling that purpose in call? Are we actually nurturing that call? Are we developing that call that we have noticed we have? Sometimes people might notice you have a call, but at least, even if you notice you have a call, what are you doing to develop it? What are you doing to develop that call upon your life? What are you doing to develop the ministerial calling, or the ministry calling upon your life? Fine, some of us might say, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a reverend, I'm not called to the altar. You don't have to be called to the altar to fulfill that call of God upon your life. So what has God put in your hand concerning the ministerial work? Are you supposed to be a missionary? Are you supposed to be an evangelist? Are you supposed to be a caregiver? You know, like caregiving, a ministry is actually a ministry itself. Evangelist is actually a ministry in itself. Are you a missionary? Are you called to change people? Are you called to speak to people? Some of us are called to the altar. Some of us are called to the mission. Some of us are called as evangelists. Some of us are called as a caregiver. Some of us are called just to support others. So how am I supporting? How am I encouraging? Also, in doing all of this, sometimes we might need to develop ourselves to function in those calls that the Lord has bestowed upon us, which is now where it comes in that, what am I doing with the gifting in my hand? What have I got in my hand? And the things that I've got in my hand concerning the ministerial call, what am I doing with it? Am I developing it? Am I enhancing it? Yes, I've been consecrated. I've been ordained. I've been chosen as a prophet while I was even yet to be conceived in my father's or in my mother's womb, excuse me. So what am I doing to enhance that call? What do I need to do? And that is saying, what do I have in my hand? You have that spiritual, ministerial, consecration, prophetic call upon you. But what are you doing to develop it? Some of us are so comfortable where we are. We call it the comfort zone. Sometimes the comfort zone can be a destroying zone. Sometimes the comfort zone might be a subduing zone. Sometimes the comfort zone might be where call into ministry, call into purpose are being destroyed. It is good to have a comfort zone, but when you develop yourself and move out of comfort zone, that is when you are using what God has placed in your hand. If you remain in your comfort zone, sometimes you might not be able to fulfill purpose. You might not be able to fulfill or enlarge or increase or develop what the Lord has put in your hand. So when it comes to the call of God, what has the Lord put in your hands? Yes, we are professionals. Yes, we are skilled people. But there's also a call to ministry, which is saying, which actually deals with the part of our consecration and being ordained as a prophet to the nation. How am I fulfilling that? Some of us need to go back to theological school, probably, to retrain. Some of us need to study to retrain. Some of us not only need to retrain, but use what we have retraining purposefully. Sometimes we retrain ourselves, we go to get more understanding, but do we apply it to our ministries? Do we apply it to our call? And also when it comes to personal development plans, what are your plans to develop your giftings? What are your plans to develop the call of God upon your life? What are your plans to develop? It's good to have a comfort zone, don't get me wrong, but try to stretch out of your comfort zone when it comes to the call of God upon your life. Try to stretch a bit. Study. I know there are people that are theologians, they're called to be teachers. There are people that teach us also where we are. So some people, that might be their profession as well. But even as that is their profession, they still go into ministerial call to fulfill that purpose upon their lives. And when it comes to ministry or calls upon our life, most of the time we take it for granted. We do not keep a personal development record. We do not. It is good as well to keep, because when you keep a personal development record, even in ministry, even in call of God upon your life, then you know what you need to develop next. You know where you're lacking. You know when, and I know as well, all of us, we know where we need to improve, what we need to change in our call. Yes, we've been consecrated. We've been ordained as prophet, appointed as a prophet, even before we were conceived in our mother's womb. But as an individual, what am I doing to develop it? So that what the Lord has placed in my hand can be fulfilled and used purposefully. Am I just content to just being a born again and I've done one probably training and I'm satisfied? Stretch yourself the more. Look for what will enhance your ministry. Look for training that will enhance your call. Look for training that would enhance you even as a Christian, so that you can move forward, so that you can be enlightened into the things of God. And this would help to enhance the consecration that you've already been called into, and the prophetic that you've already been called into, and any ministry that you've been called into. When you go and study to show yourself approved. What am I trying to say to us? We all have something in our hands concerning ministerial call. Some of us are called to the community. Some of us are called to the prison. Some of us are called just to the altar. And to be honest, some of us, while we're called to the altar, we are called to minister to people. We're called to encourage people. It is good to do all of that. But how am I developing myself so that all these things that I'm called to do actually could be done properly. And not only properly, but effectively. Not only effectively, but to glorify the name of the Lord. So what have you got in your hand when it comes to call or calling or ministerial call? Or what have you got in your hand that you know you need to develop? Look at yourself, reevaluate your ministerial call, reevaluate the call of God upon your life, and stand and see. Look at your personal development plan. Create a CV for yourself, even a ministry. Most of us have your professional CVs. We have our skill CVs. But do you have your ministerial or call CVs? Create one. See where you've done, see where you've been, see what you need to increase, see what you need to change. But every change, make sure it aligns with the call of God upon your life. And if you're yet to determine, to find out or to actually understand or know what the call of God upon your life is, by even retraining, studying, and actually putting yourself forward and removing yourself sometimes from comfort zone, might help you to identify what your calls are. The Lord will help us. He will uphold us, because Jeremiah 1:5 would never lie. He's already said it. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And before you were born, I consecrated you and appointed you as a prophet to the nation. You are a prophet, I'm a prophet. I'm consecrated, you are consecrated. He has ordained us, He has chosen us. He has, before even we were conceived. But it's left for us now to make sure those things that have been placed in our hand is used to glorify His purpose. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Please click like, subscribe, and please feel free to share for those other people that you might think might benefit from this. And as we do, comment back to me. Suggestion. I'm open for suggestion, for comments, so that we'll discuss and see where we meet. But at the end of the day, let's use that one thing the Lord has put in our hand. If you're just called to speak to people on the streets, do so with passion and effectiveness, so that the blessings of God will come upon us all. Thank you, and God bless you. Bye-bye.